Pre-foreclosures. I want to frame this a little bit before we get started. The common thing was, hey, look, I've got the data, we've started, but we're coming against some roadblocks. Okay, we're having a little bit trouble getting these under contract. So the first thing I want you to open your mind to is the amount of touches this requires with each seller is more than you think. Will you get lucky if you send a text message or a cold call? You might. But the reality is these people procrastinate. They take their time. They are not wanting to admit that they have a problem. They're going to wait till the last minute. Okay? So you have to be willing to contact these people constantly. It might take 20, 30, 40 contacts, but the result is significant. And a lot of it is that a lot of us are probably doing the data, but we're not really automating it in a fashion to where we've contacted them more than once, if we're honest about it. So then the other thing is, hey, my market's not exactly like Kansas City. It may not work for me. The reality is it is different. Some of you may be in a judicial state, some of you may be in a non-judicial state. But the reality is that there is a workaround, and there has never been an opportunity more than right now for these houses. As you've seen, inflation has been nuts. Everything is more expensive, and a lot of us maybe are making more money than we ever have before, and we don't necessarily feel that. I don't feel it at the grocery store. I don't feel it at restaurants. And even though gas is more expensive, I don't feel it. But these people do. So a lot of them are going to have to decide, do they want food? Do they want their utilities? Or are they going to pay their mortgage payment? Okay, so there is an opportunity to capitalize on this, but I want you to open your mind before we even start that if you do this, you have to be willing to contact these people more than a couple of times. Okay? If you can make it more about money and make it your duty to help these people out, and you be the foreclosure expert in your area, and you make it your point to, I'm going to help these people, it changes the dynamic of, well, I don't want to contact them anymore. You make it your responsibility to do so. Okay? So we're going to get started a little bit. Okay? Our company is East West Properties. We're out of Kansas City, Missouri. We started this company in 2015. And we're currently a company of 6 people. Before this year, I was actually a solopreneur. Before 2022, it was just me. I love hunting, I love selling, and I know a lot of you in this room are doing that. And what's cool is this can be done with a team, and it can be done without a team. It's just a scaling thing. Okay, so our team currently looks like this, and I can count. I know I said 6 people, and there's only 5. Our marketing person decided that they were going to take care of my niece that day, so it's an okay excuse. But on there, we have me in the upper right. We have Christina, our transaction coordinator, up there in the middle. Best hire I have ever made. Oh my goodness, that woman saves me. My dad, we're a family-operated business. My dad does all of the transaction work, gets all the money ready, handles all the closing docs, and the 2 guys up front are my acquisition guys that I've hired this year. Okay? So this year, like Leon said, we're on target to get 143 contracts. I did the math at the end of September here. I'm going to make it my goal to hit 150. I know it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it's the goal that I have, so I'm going to try to hit it. Okay? We will close the year with over $2 million net profit. Okay, so you can have a very high net profit business without a massive team. It can be done. Okay? And this number I need to adjust a little bit. 80% profitable. Gary actually brought it to my attention. I'm not accounting for the things that I'm doing in the company. So, slap on the wrist to me, but definitely need to account for that in profitability. But we're extremely profitable, and it's because a lot of our deals are little to no cost, and they're very high yield. Okay, so that's our company. So how did I get started in pre-foreclosures? Well, the reality was 2020 hit, March hit. All of you were impacted by COVID. All of you may have been a little nervous about COVID. Things changed. People weren't selling. The buyers drained up. The private money drained up. And I was just sitting there thinking, wow, I don't have a whole lot going on. I'm used to getting 4 or 5 deals a month. I'm not getting that right now. What am I going to do? So I decided to pour all kinds of money into the sources that you've done. PPC, pay-per lead sites, need to sell my house fast, Liberty AI, fast home offer, all the ones, I've done them, and I still do them, and they do work. I get deals from these sources, but they got more expensive. Throughout the time, I was paying maybe $75 a lead at the beginning, and then it got upwards of $500 when, We Buy Ugly Houses type franchises started finding these, and I just can't compete with that. So I was starting to realize, man, my marketing spend is getting really expensive, so I tried Facebook ads, I tried cold calling, I tried all of the stuff. Now I realize that perhaps I tried to onboard all these too soon, didn't have systems like Gary Harper would have wanted me to have. He probably would have slapped me if I was doing all these things, but I thought that's what I needed to do to get money into our business. Okay? At that time, before COVID, I was getting about 8 to 10x ROI in all of my marketing channels, and I thought that was really good. But throughout that year, it started dropping to 3 to 5x, and I'm like, I really want to hire. I'm by myself, but I can't even keep my profitability up now. What am I going to do? So I don't know if any of you guys are freaking out a little bit that maybe your marketing's getting a little bit more expensive. Your return on investments may be shrinking a little bit, but that's what I was seeing at the time. So I really wanted to dive into the numbers and figure out what exactly my deals looked like, where was the profitability, where were the deals at. So I went back and found my 2021 stats back in Left Main. And the lead source with the most contracts in 2021 was pre-foreclosures. I got 83 contracts in 2021, and 31 of them were pre-foreclosures. I had no idea. At that time, I was just slinging, going and getting deals, wasn't real in tune with my numbers. Fortunately, Stephanie Betters with Left Main got me on, and that really changed our business. So if you're not on Left Main, I love it. Hey, but at the end of the day, where's the money at? What's the one with the highest profit per deal? And pre-foreclosures was the one with $43,500 per deal. So a lot of us, I've seen kind of a national wholesale average, maybe you're 10 to 15,000. We're tripling that with pre-foreclosures because you got to know that once you're in the house, at least for me, there hasn't been the competition because these people are hard to find. Okay, so once you're there, you've earned trust. There's bigger margins. Okay? So with these findings, I went ahead and started systemizing pre-foreclosures. And just so I can prove that I'm not just crazy, this was a few days ago, I went through and found my 2022 numbers so far. Lead source with the most contracts in 22 so far. We got 109 contracts so far, 48 of them are pre-foreclosures. So 40, 50%, something like that are pre-foreclosures. Lead source with the highest profit per deal. It's held pretty consistent at $38,300. So we're a little bit less than last year, but still an awesome yield per deal. And our cheapest lead source other than referrals is pre-foreclosures. They cost me just a few bucks. It's a matter of doing some of the contact like we're going to discuss here in a little bit, but on deals in the past, I've been used to spending $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 maybe. And that works. It does. Every marketing channel works. But if my highest yield is from my free lead almost, I'd be crazy not to go over that. Okay? So over the past year, I've worked on, what do you think I've worked on? Pre-foreclosures. Okay? So this came from a systematic approach of looking at data and figuring out for me and my company what was the most valuable lead and use of my time, and I found it was this. It may not be the same for you, but this gives you an opportunity to add an arm onto your business that can add on a ton of extra deals and money. Okay? So my give today, I want to give you a blueprint that can help you become the go-to company with pre-foreclosures in your market, and I also want to help you add to your bottom line a potential extra 7 figures. That's if you operate at a high level. Even if you do just a little bit of what I'm saying, a deal or two a month is attainable. And I think at $25,000 a pop, an extra, $600,000 a year, is anyone arguing with that? Okay, so what we're going to talk about, how to get pre-foreclosure data in real time, ways to contact the seller, messaging examples, how to deep research these people, scheduling and follow-up, and daily responsibilities for team members. Okay, so we're going to go over each one of these and see where we're at. So data in real time. We've talked about this a lot. Having your data on point is hypercritical. Okay? Every single day I have up to the minute, maybe not to the minute, every few hours updates on this data. I would say that no one in Kansas City has better pre-foreclosure data than me. Okay, but I'm not pulling that data. I don't have time for that. Okay, I now have a sales team. I've been working with Eric Brewer, and he's helping me with that, and I'm trying to become a leader. I don't have time to pull sales data and go on the county records and mine data, but I can hire a VA to do so. Okay, so she pulls that data. I pay her $5-8 an hour. She pulls all of that data daily, scrubs it, cleans it, skip traces it, uploads it into our CRM, has it goes and puts it into a drip campaign, and I've set up cadences and sequences to put it in there to where this is all automated. So I show up at work and a lot of work is already done. So if you want this, first thing you can do is automate it with a VA, and we'll go over how to do that. Okay, so like I said, every morning I show up, this data is already taken care of. I don't have to do anything with it. Okay, so half the battle with this is having the best data. Okay, so where to start? Every market's a little bit different. I presented on this last time. This is not the only way to figure it out, but it's just a way that might be able to have everyone do it at the same time. Okay, so I started auction.com because this is where you can find all the foreclosure attorneys. The foreclosure attorneys are the people that conduct the foreclosure sale. They have more access to the information and knowing when they're going to conduct a sale than anybody. Okay? So if you wanted to, while we're here, go to auction.com, type in your favorite city. I live in Lee Summit, Missouri. Okay? So this is where I chose, but you should be able to do this anywhere. I've tested this in like 15 different markets before I came over here, just to make sure that I'm not telling you something that's not true. Choose a house you like. This was a house we bought a few months ago. Okay? Choose the house you like. I'll let you take a picture if you want. Scroll down. Every single listing on auction.com has a foreclosure contact foreclosure contact information there. This one in this case is South Law. Okay, that's a foreclosure attorney in Kansas City. I work with them all of the time. The names of the foreclosure attorneys are not going to be the same most likely in your area. They could be very different. Okay? And if you go to different houses, you're going to see that the foreclosure attorney changes. We got South Law and Millsap and Singer. I spent like maybe 2 or 3 hours one time figuring out who the foreclosure attorneys were in our market. And I went ahead and systemized this. There's probably 8 to 10 in Kansas City. I don't know what it'll be like in your market, but there's probably not a whole lot of them doing it. Okay, so all you have to do, go to auction.com, type in the city or the market that you want, scroll down on any property you choose, look for the foreclosure contact information, and start banking those foreclosure attorneys. Okay, then you can do a simple Google search. We had talked about South Law. We have Google search South Law foreclosure. Okay, all you have to do is look it up, go to that website, and you have the listings. Okay, they're right there. And you can see right here, and this is a little bit of old picture, but you can see that they update this all the time. They have all kinds of information here that shows that they update it every few hours. Otherwise, it wouldn't have that information. So just for reference, on that list right there, I bought 3 of those houses. Okay? So just from going to one, marketing to these people, and that small snapshot, I bought 3 of those houses. 40 grand a pop. I think it's worth our time. Okay? And then you do this over and over. Okay? The other one we talked about was Millsap and Singer. Again, they're going to be different in your market, but search for that foreclosure attorney, foreclosures afterward, and you can find the listings. You may have to dig a little bit, but that's okay. Find these foreclosure attorneys, bookmark those websites, get a VA going. And so what you do, find all the foreclosure attorneys, locate those attorneys on Google, bookmark those websites, create short screenshot or screen shares. I use Trainual. I probably took 3 or 4 hours one time and made all the videos showing a VA exactly how to go to those foreclosure attorney sites, how to pull the data, how to get it into a spreadsheet, how to clean the spreadsheet, and I did that with each of the foreclosure attorneys. Okay? There's no excuse to not do this. Even if you don't want to do this at the level that I do, that's okay. What if you had access to this data and all you did was texting? That could get you another 1 or 2 deals a month. A lot of you are texting who knows how many thousands of texts each day. But you're, as the image before with the needle in the haystack, you're trying to find the needle in the haystack. What if you just texted right to the haystack? Okay? So there's lots of opportunity on doing this. Okay? And then every day my VA does everything that we had just said. She skip traces it, she cleans it, she uploads it into our system, and it gets going. Okay? Who can afford not to do this? This is probably a half-day activity. You don't even have to do it yourself. Maybe you have someone on your team that's better with processes. They could do this, and then your team has access to these deals. And maybe you're busy with your marketing, but you know that the phone's not ringing 100% of the time. Maybe your acquisition guys, they are a little dead during that period of time. Maybe they can go hit some of this data up. Okay? There's always a reason to be proactive. I want my guys to be busy 100% of the time, and so should you. Okay? Like I said, a few hours of work that will generate leads for years to come. To me, there's no excuses not to do this.
On your previous slide, you had where you mentioned, oh, I bought 3 properties off that list right there. Wait, yeah, that one, that's fine. Is that on their website, or where would that be, that report?
So each of these foreclosure attorneys, their job are hosting foreclosure sales. So they have to put it out there to the market to kind of publicize a little bit. In Missouri, you have to publicize it for 3 weeks. So yeah, they're constantly updating this every single day. It's the nature of what they do. All they do is foreclosure sales. So if you want to go get the best data, the foreclosure attorneys are where to go.
And that would be on their website?
On their website, and every foreclosure attorney is different. Again, I'm talking about Kansas City ones,
right,
but I have done this in multiple different markets, and they're largely the same. You may need to adjust a few things here and there.
So I saw your video and I tried this, and I had an easy time finding it and then a hard time finding it on others.
Right.
So what's the difference in going to the lawyers or the attorney list versus just going to auction.com and finding the area that you want?
So it's interesting. With each foreclosure attorney, sometimes they publicize things more than others. Some will actually pay to put their stuff on auction.com, get it out there. Others are tiny little firms, and maybe it's harder to get that data. But you're really going to have to sift through for a few hours, like how can I extract that data, teach it once. It might be painful up front, I'll just be honest. But getting good data is not going to be easy. Okay? So if you want to get the best data, you got to do things that other people aren't willing to do.
So essentially you're saying some on this list doesn't make it to auction quite yet.
So all of these will make it to the auction unless something's done beforehand. I'm just saying that I bought 3 of the houses on that list. I didn't get the other ones, is what I'm saying.
So basically, no matter what market you're in, your goal, or what you're suggesting the goal should be, is to be the first to lead. So in your market, it pops up first in public record on an attorney's website. In Colorado, it may be on the public trustee's website.
Yeah.
But you're saying if you're first to lead, you have the best opportunity, and that's why you're doing this extra work.
It depends how you frame it, but you also have to realize that there's a lot of time to find these people. Just because you skip trace it and try to find them today, that doesn't mean you're finding them today. It might be 2 weeks. So you're trying to give yourself some buffer time to find these people so you can help them out.
You were saying that you are purchasing these properties. Are you actually buying them and flipping them, or are you assigning these?
If we have enough time, we'll assign them. But my feeling is if I have the ability, I'm going to buy it, just because the buyer's funding could fall through. Anything could happen, and my first responsibility is to that seller. I need to make sure that I get it taken care of before the sale. So we're buying probably 90% of them.
And are any percentage of those short sales?
Some of them. I actually have a foreclosure or a short sale agent that I'm friends with. I refer those to him. Now we do the fun part, marketing to sellers. Okay, they're really hard to find. I've already told you, these people have a reason that they're behind. Maybe they're passed away. Maybe they're in jail. Maybe they're in an assisted living facility. They're not easy to find, but that makes it to where if you do the hard work, you're going to be the guy or gal when the time comes. Okay? So ways to contact them. We cold call. A lot of you are already doing that. We text. A lot of you are already doing that. We door knock. Super powerful. Facebook message. Whew, that gets me excited. Direct mail. I'll share a couple of pieces of a type of direct mail we use. Hey, email has been great lately, and we'll talk about email a little bit. And a lot of these are automated, by the way. Hey, and the last one, and perhaps the most powerful one, is video messaging. And we'll go over this. Just that slide with video messaging, you could have a whole presentation on that alone. Okay? Okay, so we're going to start with the call. And a lot of you probably think it's really scary to talk to these people. They're going to scream at you, they're going to yell at you, they're going to curse you out, and they might. But the reality is that most of them are quite relieved to talk to you. They didn't know that this was happening. They feel good about things. So I'm in the camp that I just put it out there from the very beginning. Okay? So a call might be, hey, is this Charles? My name's Michael. I know you've got a lot going on. I'm sure a lot of other wholesalers are hitting you up. But it looks like Wells Fargo has started foreclosure proceedings, and it's on the 4th of next month. Okay? I don't think that their process is fair. So I just wanted to check in with you and see how things are going. Be quiet. Let them talk. They're going to respond in one of three ways. Number one is they're going to get really upset. Number two, say, we have it taken care of. That's a common thing that they always say. We got it taken care of, but you got to be willing to break through that. Okay? And we can talk about that in another presentation. But, and I know a lot of you are taking pictures of the messaging. Can I just say that the messaging at the end of the day doesn't matter. It's about being there and actually caring and being consistent. Okay, so the next one, hey, Charles, my name is Michael. The reason I'm calling is I noticed your place on 123 Main Street has a foreclosure sale coming up in 2 weeks. I just wanted to check and see if there was anything I could do to help. Let them talk. Some of them will pour their soul out, and there's nothing left to be done other than go and meet them. But this is cold calling. It's going to be difficult to get a hold of them first, second, third time, so always be proactive. Leave a voicemail. Leave anything you can. These people get your messages, I assure you. It's just a matter of they don't want to take care of it yet. Okay, so that's cold calling. SMS. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 different messaging techniques. One is really long, one is medium, one is short. I did that on purpose just to show you that it doesn't matter what you send as long as you're there. Okay, so the first one. Jimmy, my name is Michael. I'm guessing you know about the foreclosure sale on the 34th for the home on 123 Main Street. I know you don't want to hear from me. I'm hoping you have everything taken care of, but if you need a backup plan and specializing in help homeowners in this situation, I can get the auction postponed and I can help you navigate all of your options. I'm based out of Lee Summit. Let me know if you want to have a conversation. Okay, so I always approach it as the guy that is trying to help them out. I'm not an investor. I'm not throwing a cash offer at them. I am trying to help them. I want them to navigate all the options. And then when the time comes, I've given them enough value that if they decide to sell their house, I am the person and there is no other option. Okay? So that's the first option. Don't feel like you have to screenshot these. They're all different. Hey, Carla, I know you have a lot going on with the foreclosure right now. You do have 5 options to get the sale stopped. I'm happy to go over those in detail. Might I add that each one of these got me a deal, these specific messages. Okay? So all I did was say, you have 5 options. Let's have a conversation. Third one, I tried to push the envelope on how short I could get. Hey, the auction on your place is coming up. I can help. Okay? So you don't have to be eloquent. You don't have to be Shakespeare. Just put it out there. Okay? So you'll see that she responded. She said, my ex won't sign a quitclaim deed. That's why I haven't sold it. Okay? So I got her on the phone. Her name was Mary Jo. I said, hey, what's going on with the house? Catch me up to speed. Okay? She said, well, A lot of other wholesalers have called. I tell them that I got the house in a foreclosure, or not a foreclosure situation, a divorce situation. I won the house and the divorce decree. My husband hates me. He hates my guts. He won't help me out. He won't sign the quitclaim deed. There's nothing you can do. And she said that she'd talked to 10 or 15 other people. The reality is, once you get a hold of these people, that's your time to shine. That's when you got to start solving the problem. So I said, okay, give me 24 hours. And I will have this thing signed. I did not know if I was going to be able to do it. But she was adamant that she was not doing anything with the house, so I had to do something. So I got off the phone with her, and I'm a person of faith. I don't know about you, but I feel like God puts opportunities in my horizon that have nothing to do with me. So I happened to send a piece of direct mail to an address that was her ex-husband's. He calls me no more than 2 minutes later. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. And he says, hey, look, my wife, her name is Mary Jo. We have this house on Greenwald in Belton. I roughed her up. I treated her really badly. There's nothing I can do to fix it now, but the least I can do is sign this quitclaim deed. I know that it needs to be done. Can you help me out? So I said, yep, click, called the other lady back and said, this is going to sound really weird, but your ex-husband just called me and said that he signed the quitclaim deed. Are you available to meet? Yep. So we went to the house, had a great conversation with her, inked the deal, sold it to a hedge fund, $45,000 wholesale deal. All I did was send a text message. But I was there at the right time. I provided the value that she needed. Hey, it's not just going to be easy. Like Leon was saying, it's not going to be a silver bullet. It's going to take some effort. You're going to have to provide some value. Okay? So that's SMS. Door knocking. I love me some door knocking. So as you know, I am starting to build an actual business now with employees and wanting to be a leader, but I still love sales. I love chasing deals. I've done this for a long time now. And people ask me, well, how did you start? Beginning of 2020, it was probably April or May, I can't remember. Maybe it was a little earlier based on the picture. But our office space did not allow us to work there because of COVID rules. So I was at home, I had a newborn, loved my little girl. But I was trying to run a business and my wife was expecting me to take care of the little one as much as she was, so it was causing some issues, right? So I didn't have much going in terms of my pipeline, and I'm like, I just got to go for a walk. I'm really upset. I just need to clear the air. So I'm on my phone. I'm scrolling through Zillow, right? And I see this listing. It says, auction on it. I didn't know what it meant. I just knew it said auction. So I looked it up, and the auction was in like 3 weeks. And I realized this house, it's on Aspen Street, and it's about a quarter mile from where I live. And I was like, I'm just going to walk over there and see what happens. And I was terrified out of my mind. I was sweating. I was so nervous. But I went up to the door, not eloquent at all, and I said, it looks like you guys have a foreclosure sale in a few weeks. Do you have that taken care of? Really not convincing at all. And he says, oh my gosh, we just got the certified mail from the attorney. We have no idea what to do. Come in. Let's talk. This is my first door knock ever. I'm not saying that you're going to get a deal on your first deal ever, but I'm saying that it's so powerful. Very few people are doing this. So I went inside the house. We had probably a 2-hour conversation. At the end, they say, Michael, you seem awesome. We think you're authentic. We think you can take care of us. Let us talk about it tonight. We exchanged phone numbers the next day. They called me back and they said, let's do it. Okay, so I signed the deal, closed it. I believe we made around $60,000 on the deal, and a light bulb just went off like, what just happened? I made money appear out of thin air. This is at a time before we've scaled this. This was probably our first pre-foreclosure deal, and I had no idea what it was doing. So this goes to show, take imperfect action, do the stuff, and over time, things will happen, okay? So door knocking, one of the best ways to get a pre-foreclosure, because just like Josh was talking about video, you can take that video and batch it up into a bunch of different things. When you go to a door knock, you can lay eyes on the house. You can see the condition. You can see if it's vacant. You can maybe talk to the seller. Maybe you can talk to a neighbor who knows them really well and they have their phone number. Maybe, and I've got a deal this way, maybe you can talk to the mailman and they might know something. Who knows the neighborhoods better than the mailman? Okay? So going there and seeing it and feeling it and touching it makes it a whole lot easier to get the deal. Then you have some intel. Okay? Another powerful thing that we did was we update a map daily. I have my VA do this. Okay? She updates a Google map every single day with the foreclosures on there. So that way when my acquisition guys are driving around, they know exactly where they are. And maybe they went to an appointment from just a normal direct mail lead or a normal online lead, and they're just, after that appointment, they're like, oh, I'm on the map. I'm only 2 blocks away from that house. Let's go hit it up. Okay, so it gives you that opportunity. And just to illustrate that a little bit more, I was actually going to an actual foreclosure sale on the courthouse steps, and I really wanted this town home. I ended up not getting it. The people bid way, way, way too much. So I'm on the way back. I'm kind of mad, and I just hear something in my head. Again, I'm a believer, and I just hear, go to the closest one. What does that mean? Okay, so I pull open my map. This house was on Union. It was maybe 2/3 of a mile away. I show up at the house, I door knock it, and I said, I feel led to come here and help you out with your foreclosure. She said, okay, come on in. I kid you not, and I don't want to paint this picture that you're going to get them every time. You're not, okay? But I go in there, we have a conversation. I bought that house sub 2. It cash flows about $600 a month now. Outstanding, okay? Just from having an awareness of where they are. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Having an awareness where they are can lead to deals, okay? So here is a real-life example. This is probably one of the deals that I'm most proud of, and it's because I wasn't involved at all. I trained my first acquisition guy to do this. He went out and door knocked. I'm at dinner with my wife and my daughter, and he calls me, Michael, I didn't really believe you at all about the door knocking, but I went out and did it, and there's this lady. She's super interested. What do I do? Okay, go in there and have the conversation like we've talked about. He calls me a little bit later. Are you familiar with Prior Meadows and Lee Summit? Yes, I'm really familiar. ARV is probably 375. He's like, it's in awesome shape. If I can get it for $250, does that work? Yep, definitely does. Okay, so he locked it up all by himself. Okay, we put $20,000 into the seller's pocket. Got a phenomenal review from her on Google. He left the appointment with her crying out of happiness and giving him a hug. And for that, we made $65,000 on the house selling it to a hedge fund. Okay? All from door knocking. Okay? What if they don't answer? A lot of us will door knock it one time and they do not answer. Well, it's not for me. It's not meant to be. Okay? A lot of these are going to take 2 or 3 times. Okay? And if you leave there, leave a clue. Don't just leave without doing anything. So we leave 5 variations of notes. 3 are kind of these more professional looking notes. We actually leave those in kind of higher ARV areas. For some reason, they seem to like corporate looks more. In the lower ARVs, we've done really well with sticky notes. Those things cost a fraction of a penny. And it says, if you can't read it, I can help with your house. There is hope. My name, or whoever the acquisition person's name is. The other one says, there are 5 ways to stop the sale. Call to go over them. Okay? Those have gotten me I don't know how many deals. So if you're door knocking and they're not there, leave something. Okay? Facebook messages. This one excites me. Oh my goodness. This was a house on Flagstone in Lee Summit. I wanted this house. I have 2 or 3 other rentals in this neighborhood. I just wanted it. Okay, so I contacted this lady, and to some of the people that said, I can't get a hold of these people, I contacted this person 114 times. 114 times. I texted her, I called her, I door knocked her, I found a golden address, I door knocked that one. I talked to all of her neighbors, I did everything. I was so frustrated, but I just knew based on what she owed that it's just like, I can't let this lady not capitalize. Okay? So I just went to her, I was going to give up, and then I just gave one last ditch effort. Okay? I saw on her profile she had a boyfriend. Okay? I clicked on the boyfriend's profile, and I said, hey, Brian, sorry for the random message. I'm trying to get a hold of Angie. Her house is in foreclosing in a few days. She has a good bit of equity. I can help her, but she won't pick up the phone. Can you help? He responds, says, I'll see what I can do. I figured that nothing was going to happen. She texts me about an hour later, not with, hey, this is Angie. No, it's with her mortgage statement. You can't make this stuff up. So she owed $68,000 on the house. We set up an appointment. We meet at a local McDonald's, right? And she's like, I need a little bit of money of this. I'm begging you to give me $80,000. I know you won't do it. There's no way. Now, this house is probably worth $280,000. She didn't know that. It needed a lot of work. But I said, no, you're right. I can't do 80. I'll give you 100. How about that? Okay? I didn't have to. I could have gotten it for 80. But it's the law of reciprocity. I give, the universe gives back, or God gives back in my world. Okay? So I signed this. We closed in a couple of days. I sold this off for $72,000. Okay? Okay, so Facebook is amazing. I have 3 other examples for you. This one's pretty funny. Okay? Actually, we have one more before that. Hey, there was this house in Grain Valley, a suburb of Kansas City. I could not find this dude. I messaged him. I said, hey, Brett, do you happen to know John Whiteman who lived in Grain Valley? Yes. He basically says, yeah, it needs to go through probate. Can you help me out? I don't think there's enough time. We're actively working on this deal. He is the son. I could not get a hold of him any other way, but he answered immediately on Facebook. I don't know. You just got to contact these people in all kinds of ways. So when you say I can't get a hold of them, are you going to the length that is required? And I wish I had KPIs on how many touches it takes to contact them to illustrate more, and maybe I'll get that done to help down the road. Okay? But here's the funny one I was saying. I messaged this lady, hey, Jennifer, do you happen to own the house at 6231 Rock Hill? She says, unfortunately, yes. If you can help me eke out a smidge of money, I'll send paperwork to the Vatican for your sainthood canonization. What does that even mean? But we bought this house sub 2. We're going to turn it into an Airbnb. We closed on it a couple weeks ago. Okay? Couple more. This lady, messaged her on Facebook. Again, super short message. What's going on with the house? How can I help? She says again, my parents passed away. I inherited the house. I don't have the money for probate. I don't have the money. I'm homeless at the moment. Can you help me? I drove over there. Within 45 minutes, I have this house under contract. Okay? And again, I don't want to preach like this is easier. It's just like every single time you get a deal. I just want to illustrate that it works. Okay? But you had to be willing to do the work. Hey, last one. Hey, saw your house has a foreclosure sale scheduled. There's 5 ways to stop it. Do you want to have a conversation? Yep. Want to have a conversation. Okay? So Facebook messages are extremely powerful. And you're not just trying to message the seller. Maybe you're getting a hold of a relative, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa. Okay? I just want to illustrate how powerful that is. Direct mail. Hey, nothing special about this. I send 3 different pieces of direct mail during that 21-day period in Missouri. It could be different in your market. But I send the first one, it's, hey, do you have any housing challenges, behind on payments, that kind of general letter. Hey, there are 5 ways to stop the sale. And then a really blunt one, hey, your house is about to be foreclosed on in a couple of days. You probably should do something about it. Okay? I have my aunt hand write the envelopes. She does this every day. She just wanted a little side gig. So I hired her to do it. If there's a mail house that can do stuff this fast, I'd love to know. But this is how we currently have it. Okay, so direct mail, there's nothing special at all. Just 3 different pieces of mail, and hopefully get a hold of them. Okay, this one is a new finding as of about 45 days ago. Now, we use Lead Sherpa for our skip tracing. It may not be the best service, and that's okay. But it has worked for us for years, so we still use it. And on that data, they give you two email addresses. And for a long time, I was like, those are bogus. They're not going to work. And technically not probably the most legal to send those messages, putting that out there, because they haven't opted into my funnel. But I feel like it's my responsibility to contact these people. So I automated some email. Basically, it says, here are your 5 options to stop the foreclosure. Listed out the options. Give me a call if you want to talk about it. This is a 2020 build, brand new house, very, very nice. Guy got a phenomenal rate. I think he has like 2.7 interest rate. We're going to buy that sub 2, phenomenal future rental. Okay? This is one that I did last week. The first email was September 28th. Hey, saw your house has a foreclosure on 10/11. There's 5 options to stop the sale. Do you want to have a conversation? Yes. My husband passed away. I just need to sell the house really quick. Okay, met her at the house. We opened escrow on a Wednesday. The foreclosure sale was actually tomorrow. we got this closed, got her to sign. Okay, quick $35K assignment on that one. Okay, that's from an email. That doesn't cost anything. All I did was write like 10 or 15 different emails, automate it with a drip, and I'm getting responses. Okay? And this one is perhaps the most powerful, and it can be used in all kinds of different ways in your businesses, not just foreclosures. So I realized, because in Kansas City, I kind of talk about this like every day on my social. I'm like, hey, I'm out here at this, whatever I'm doing. I'm talking about pre-foreclosure and how powerful it is. So obviously I've spawned some competition, and that is okay. It makes me better. But I decided, you know what? These people are getting mad. They've gotten hit up by 20 people. How can I humanize myself a little bit? Okay? So I started sending these messages, and they sound something like this.
Michael, I just want to touch base with you about your house in Holden. Know that there's a foreclosure sale here in a few weeks, and just want to touch base, make sure that you were doing okay. Hopefully you have it taken care of, but if you feel like you're not gaining much traction on getting that sale canceled, I'm more than happy to step in and be a backup plan for you, go over your 5 different options on how to get that sale stopped. So if you're open to a conversation about it, feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Michael. Talk to you later.
Simple message. Okay, that was probably about a month ago. That ended up having a gentleman call me out about this house. Okay? He said that he had had 30 other investors contact him, mostly through text, and I was the only person that sent a video, so I stood out. Okay? So I met the guy, signed it up. That's going to be a flip that makes us 100 to 125 grand if things go well.
Was that a text video, or was that, I figured that was your
This was a
question.
text message video.
There you go.
Okay? So when you think about that, great, that's for foreclosures, wonderful. But what about other areas in your businesses? You know you have thousands of leads in your CRM. They're all, some of them are dead. They won't contact you. Maybe they've gone dark. What if you sent a video message to those people? Hey, we've talked a while back about your house there. I'm sure you have it taken care of, but just in case you're open to a conversation, I'm happy to talk. How many of those leads do you think you can resurrect from the dead? I bet a lot. Okay? What about hitting up wholesalers for deals? I don't know how many automated texts per week. Hey, do you have any deals that I can look at in Kansas City? The same guys, the same message, like twice a week. It drives me insane. I'm not going to work with you, even though I probably should, but it annoys me because I don't put any effort into it. So what if you just said, hey, Nick, hope you're doing well in your business this week. I know your daughter did really well in her softball game last week. Hey, do you happen to have any deals for sale? I'd love to get another one on the board with you. I think that's going to go over a whole lot better than some of these other things we do with wholesalers. And maybe you do it with real estate agents, same thing. So there's so many options for video, and I'm sure some of you are doing this, but there's a lot of ways to humanize yourself that make you a little bit more powerful. Okay? Now, a schedule. This is just something I came up with. This is for our business. This does not have to be used in your business. It's just a 21-day schedule for what we do. So you'll see how many contacts we're making. Okay? Each day we're trying to do something. Okay? So when you come to me and say, I tried 3 times and didn't get a deal, well, I'm sorry, that's not enough. You've got to make it your duty to get a hold of these people, whether it takes 1 time or it takes 101 times. Okay? Not only are you making money for you and your company, but you're changing that person's life forever. Stopping a foreclosure, putting money in their pocket, hopefully setting a different trajectory. Okay? So that's just the general template we use. We have it set up in Left Main to where there's notifications and different tasks for our people, and it makes it a whole lot easier for them. Okay? So what does this look like daily? I'm almost done, I promise. Okay, my foreclosure team, 2 acquisition agents, 1 VA that pulls and cleans data, and 1 researcher VA. This is something that we've instituted pretty recently. We noticed that when we were out door knocking, we'd get these houses that were vacant. It's like, ooh, it's a prime one. Let's go after it. But then the acquisition agent would door knock it, and they'd put their little note on the door, but then it would kind of be like out the window. You'd kind of forget about it a little bit until the next time you came around, and then you'd end up running out of time. So We've had our acquisition guys say, like, text over to our researcher VA and say, hey, look, this house is vacant. I think it's really prime. Can you research it? So all she does is look up phone numbers, look up social profiles, look up anything that you come up with. Sounds a little bit morbid, but look for obituaries. You can find a lot of people on obituaries, kids, relatives. And she puts all that in one place. And then my person that's in the office, one of our acquisition guys, is cold calling, email, Facebook messages, texting, managing responses. He sees all that information that VA's put in there, and it helps him in his job in tracking these people down. Okay, and then the other person's out door knocking or something like that, and then every other day they switch to keep eyes fresh on it. Door knocking every day is a little bit tiring, so is sitting on the phone in an office, so they switch off just so they can keep things fresh. Okay, and like I said, I have the VA that pulls data daily, and I have the researcher VA. Okay, so this is our team. This team will net me about $1.5 million in pre-foreclosures this year. Okay, so it doesn't have to be big. It's not a very big team to do that. Okay, and this is what's crazy. This is only one list. This is pre-foreclosures, right? What if you got that automated and then you decided, I wanted to go after all the other niche lists? What if you layered them? Think about how powerful that would be. I get pretty excited thinking about that, you know. Okay? So you think about all these other lists. Tax delinquent, code violation, water shutoff, electric shutoff, vacant, driving for dollars, estate sales, probate, divorce, evictions, power of attorney, dangerous buildings, judgments, arrest, crime, cease and desist, order to vacate, beneficiary deeds, and obituaries. Okay, so all of you that say that there's not opportunity, oh my gosh, look at all the motivation on this list. Okay, so what if in a perfect world, this is my perfect world, it doesn't have to be your perfect world, in a business where multiple VAs pull every single one of these pieces of data, they skip trace it, they clean it, they upload it, they get it into the CRM, and it drips with a language that goes with their particular situation, and we're doing the same thing. To me, that's the ultimate real estate power in my world. I love chasing these niche lists. You may not want to do that, and that's okay. I also like the idea of doing TV and radio and just sitting back and waiting for the phone to ring. That's awesome too. But if you like being proactive and you like chasing and you really like helping people, to me this is the ultimate real estate power. You're like Thanos with all 5 of his stones, and he can snap his fingers and do whatever he wants with it. To me, if you had all this data and you had it systemized in this way, it can basically be like me snapping my fingers and generating a deal out of thin air. Okay? So final thoughts, with just a little bit of setup, you could have a new lead source where the leads are very inexpensive. There's very little competition if you're doing it the way I'm doing it. This is my most consistent, highest yielding profit lead source. And just like I said, this will net us around $1.5 million when you factor in equity and sub-2 rentals we've bought. Okay? No one else in your market is doing this at this level. That means that there's opportunity. There's a lot of people that try, but they half-ass it, to be frank with you. Okay? This is a potential 7-figure opportunity, but even if you just texted these people, texted that data, 1 or 2 deals a month, don't you think that's worth it to take a few hours, get the data, systemize it, and this has changed my company forever. You don't have to do the same, but this is a great arm to get you started for the rest of 2022 and hopefully beyond that.